When I think back on my entire childhood, I can only remember one happy memory with my mother. I'm 10 years old, I'm in her semi-truck, on my way with her to her run in New Orleans. We are on the side of a red dirt road in Alabama, and my mom is reaching out of the cab. She's very small like me. She's reaching out of the cab to pick a magnolia flower off of the tree, and she gives it to me, and it is so beautiful and so fragrant, and it is still my favorite flower today. I even have a tattoo of it on my leg. I spent a lot of my childhood feeling very abandoned and alone and betrayed. My mom was a professional truck driver, so she was gone for weeks at a time. My dad was not really around, so I spent a lot of my time feeling like I just desperately wanted their attention and love. All of a sudden, I'm 19. I'm studying social work my freshman year in college, and I'm in love. Michael was everything to me. I was positive that I was going to spend the rest of my life with him. I was head over heels. So when he broke up with me, I felt alone again, like I had when I was a little girl. I felt betrayed. I felt abandoned. I was crushed. I was devastated. I couldn't get out of bed, but I thought, okay, I'll get through this. Until he began dating one of my friends who lived next door to me in the dorms and was in all my classes. And I went to a really small school, so I saw them together all the time. I could hear them laughing next door when they were in her room. I was constantly confronted with just this devastating pain. I felt so isolated in my despair, like just immersed in crippling loneliness and devastation. And one October evening, I'm sitting on my bed in my dorm room, and I'm thinking and thinking about my whole life of suffering, all the suffering I'd done in my short 19 years. And I was just feeling very sorry for myself, thinking, why me? What did I do to deserve this? All I've done is suffer. And then it was like a light switch turned on in my brain. And I could hear God speaking to me. And he said, Sheridan, you're here to help people. You suffer because your job is to help other people not suffer. And I knew that God had given me a mission. And that mission was to take my own life so that other people would never have to suffer. And I felt so at peace and so resolved with this solution. Like, of course, that was the answer. So swallowing a bottle of Xanax sounded like a perfect explanation, a perfect answer to my mission. So when my roommate came back to our dorm and found me unresponsive and took me to the emergency room, I learned that it was not necessarily God speaking to me, but that I was having a psychotic break. I went to psychiatric inpatient treatment for 2 weeks where I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I learned more about what that abandonment meant for me. Then I took the next few years to heal. I left the school that Michael was at. I finished college, started to begin my career in social work, and I even combined my two loves of social work and punk music into an organization that aimed to offer free mental health services to touring musicians and music industry workers. And I'm 25, and I'm in love again. And with someone who respects me and believes in me, and he's a musician, and his band takes me on the road because they believe in what I'm doing. And I'm in love. And then he left. And I was devastated, and I couldn't get out of bed. But I thought to myself, this feels different. Yes, I'm sad, but I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I know that I'm going to get through this because I got through it before. So, moving forward, I decided to take my broken heart on the road again with his band. And I'm in a venue in Richmond, Virginia, and I have these little business cards with affirmations on them. They say, "I'm glad you exist." They say, "I care about you and I think you're important." And I'm handing them to everyone inside the room. And the next morning, I wake up to an email from someone named Rob. And he had been at the show the night before, and I had handed him a card. And he was so grateful for that card. He said, "I realized that my suffering was not mandatory. You gave me the ability to put a name to my misery. That name is depression. How had I not seen that before I met you, before you handed me this card?" And I was in disbelief. Like, I can't believe that I impacted this person so much. I'm doing it, I'm helping. That mission that I thought I had turned into my mission. And I had used that trauma and heartbreak to create a positive purpose. And the feeling of making a positive impact in Rob's life filled me more completely than any of those relationships with Michael or Ryan or my mother had ever made me feel. And I realized what I was supposed to do. And today I continue to work on myself. I don't feel abandoned by my mother anymore. I look forward to her phone calls every Sunday. Through my heartbreak and my trauma and all of the experiences, the people that hurt me the most ended up empowering me beyond comprehension. And today I'm able to see that I'm glad I exist, and I care about myself, and I think I'm important. Thank you.